Hi, good to see you. After buying a lottery ticket like every day, Mrs. Maria won the lottery and the jackpot, but when she went to withdraw the winnings, she didn't think it would happen. It was a sunny spring day when Maria woke up in her small apartment in the city. At her age, she had become accustomed to her daily routine. Getting up early, having her coffee with milk and toast for breakfast, and then going for a walk in the nearby park. Maria had been a lawyer in her younger years, but had now been retired for decades. Her husband died years ago, and her children were too busy with their own families to visit them often. Although at times she felt lonely, Maria liked her independence that morning after her walk in the park. Maria decided to stop by the Costco as usual. "Good morning," Mrs. Maria greeted her. The kiosk man the same as always. "Yes, Alberto, give me a lottery ticket, please," she replied, looking for the money in her purse. Maria had the superstition of buying a ticket every day. She knew that the chances of winning were minimal, but dreaming doesn't cost nothing. "I thought here you are lucky," said Alberto when giving him the ticket. "Thank you, young man. Have a good day." Maria said goodbye. Putting the ticket in her bag, Maria returned to her apartment to have lunch. She turned on the small television in the kitchen. While she heated up the soup she had prepared the day before, suddenly a news flash interrupted the program. We interrupted to announce that the winner of the lottery jackpot with millions of dollars was sold in the city. This morning on winning number is Maria. She almost fell off the chair when she heard the winning number was the one on her ticket. With trembling hands, she checked her bag and took out the crumpled ticket. "OMG, I can't believe it. I won," she exclaimed, full of happiness. After recovering from the initial shock, Maria called to her daughter Monica to tell her the news. "Hello, Mom. Something happened?" Monica asked. "Monica, you're not going to believe me. I won the lottery. Millions of dollars." Maria shouted. "What are you saying? Are you sure? Let me see that ticket. Don't fall for a scam," Monica said, distrustful. "I swear I just saw the number in the news. I have the ticket," Maria insisted. "Wow, I can't believe it." "Oh, Mom, I'm so happy for you. This will change your life," said Monica excitedly. "Go claim the prize before they close. Then tell me the details." Maria hung up the phone with a smile from ear to ear. Despite her age, she felt an energy and emotion that she had not experienced in years. She could already imagine everything she would do with that money. She could redecorate her apartment, travel to places she always wanted. Knowing how to help his grandchildren more, he could even consider stopping renting and buying a little house of his own. The possibilities seemed endless. He took his bag and his documents and left for the casino, where he had bought the winning ticket. When he arrived, he went directly to the prize claim window. "Excuse me, I'm here to claim a prize," said Maria, excitedly handing over her ticket. The cashier examined the ticket and frowned after typing something on her computer. She responded, "I'm sorry, ma'am. There must be an error on this ticket. It does not appear as a winner in our system." "How not? If this is the winning number, they just announced it on television," Maria exclaimed, confused. "There must be some error. This ticket is not registered as a winner." "Here," the cashier insisted, "I recommend that you verify the number carefully." Maria began. Feeling panic, he checked his ticket again, but it was the same number that they had said on television. "Please check again. I saw the drawing live, and this is the winning ticket. I even called my daughter to tell her." "Don't do this to me," he begged. Maria, with tears in her eyes, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't do anything. The system doesn't register it as a winning number," the cashier repeated, impassive. At that moment, the branch manager approached, attracted by the commotion. "What's going on here?" the manager asked a middle-aged woman. And looking severe, the cashier explained the situation and that Maria insisted on having the winning ticket, but that the system did not register it. "So I see, ma'am. It must be an error. Perhaps she misheard the number or got confused, but our system is clear about that ticket." "He didn't win anything," the manager said. Maria began to cry inconsolably. What was happening was not possible. "Please, there must be a mistake. I saw the drawing. I wrote down the number. How could it be that it is not registered here?" I begged through tears, but neither the cashier nor the manager. They gave in. They insisted that she must have written down the number wrong and that they couldn't do anything about it. "You have to leave. You're making a fuss," the manager finally said, motioning for a security guard to come over. Maria felt like the world was turning upside down. It was collapsing around her. How was it possible? She was completely sure that she had the winning ticket in her hands. She had even confirmed it before leaving her house. She had no choice but to leave, crying inconsolably and feeling that a dream had been taken away from her, the prize that for her. A few moments had excited Maria so much, he disappeared as quickly as he arrived with a broken heart. Maria returned to her apartment. She didn't even have the mood to cook. Still, unable to believe what had happened, she sat down in her armchair. He turned on the TV again, thinking that maybe it had all been a nightmare. To his surprise, the news channel was broadcasting live from the casino door, covering the story of the jackpot winner. The reporter was holding a ticket in his hand. "We are here outside the casino ready to talk to the lucky winner of millions of dollars as soon as he comes out with his huge check," the reporter said. He felt nauseous when he confirmed that indeed the ticket the reporter showed had the same number as the one. There was no doubt about her. Her ticket was the winner. "I can't believe they did this to me," she murmured as tears flooded her eyes again. There must have been some mistake or worse, some kind of fraud. Maria couldn't explain how it could be that the winning ticket was within reach. About to be paid to another person willing to get to the bottom of the matter, he took his bag again and headed to the casino, hoping to be able to approach the supposed winner and discover the truth. But when he arrived, he only found a crowd celebrating and taking photos. With a man holding a check for millions of dollars, after seeing the supposed winner celebrating with the prize she was sure he had won. Maria felt completely devastated and confused. How was this possible? She had the ticket with the winning number in her possession. I had definitely verified that something very strange was happening. Determined to discover the truth, Maria approached in the middle of the crowd to where the man was with the check for millions. "Excuse me, I need to talk to you for a moment," said Maria, touching the man's shoulder. "I'm a little busy now, ma'am. What do you need?" He responded with annoyance. "Please, it'll just be a moment. I need to see your winning ticket." Maria insisted. The man reluctantly agreed and showed her the ticket. Maria examined it meticulously and confirmed that in fact I had the same number as yours. "This makes no sense. I also have that same ticket number, and at the casino they told me that I was not a winner." "It must be a mistake," exclaimed Maria. "Madam, I don't know what you were talking about. Clearly, this is the only one winning ticket, and it was already verified by the casino. Now, if you'll excuse me, I want to enjoy my prize," the man said, rudely turning around to take more photos with the check. Maria was not willing to give up. She made her way through the crowd again and approached to the casino managers who were there. "Please listen to me. This ticket that I have also has the winning number. I am sure that something irregular is happening here," Maria pleaded with the general manager of the casino. "Madam, we already had this conversation before. The only winning ticket validated by our system is the one the man has." "End of discussion," said the general manager, visibly upset. "But there must be an error. There cannot be two tickets with the same number." Maria insisted desperately. "Security, please accompany this lady." At the exit, the manager indicated. Immediately, two burly guards approached Maria and took her firmly by the arms, trying to lead her towards the exit. Maria struggled and begged for the exit, but no one paid attention to her. The guards pushed her out the door towards the street. "Don't you dare set foot here again," one of the guards shouted at her before closing the door in her face. Maria was now on the street crying, not understanding what was happening. She began to walk without heading through the city, feeling helpless and defeated. After walking several blocks, she finally stopped a taxi and went to the nearest police station. There she demanded to speak with the detective in charge to report a possible fraud. After waiting several hours, finally, Detective Garcia helped her, an older man with a tired appearance. Maria told him everything that happened while showing him her ticket over and over again as proof. "Ma'am, what you're telling me is very serious, but I'm honest. Will your word be against theirs? If the casino system verified that ticket as the winner, it will be very difficult to prove otherwise," the detective said after listening to her. "But there has to be something I can do. It's not fair. I know I won that prize. They must be doing something fraudulent. I beg you." "You have to investigate further," Maria begged. Detective Garcia agreed to keep a copy of Maria's ticket and investigate a little more, but he warned her that the chances of proving her right were slim. Maria left the police station quite demoralized, but at least maintaining a glimmer of hope that the police would discover the truth. The days passed and Maria did not receive any news about her case. They also did not answer her calls at the police station when she tried to find out if they had any progress in the case. Investigation. Finally, a week later, you received a call from Detective Garcia. Mrs. I regret to inform you that after carrying out the pertinent investigations, we have not found any evidence of fraud or irregularity on the part of the casino. It does not seem to indicate that they correctly validated that ticket as the winner of the prize. I am sorry. A lot, but we are going to have to close the case. The detective informed. Maria felt like she was going to faint. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Please, detective, you have to. There is something else I can do. I know what I saw. My ticket had that number identical to the supposed winner. There must be some way to prove that it was also valid, Maria pleaded. I'm sorry, ma'am, and we did everything we could. If you want my advice, I recommend that you leave it. I know it must be very frustrating for you, but there is no way to prove your case against such a powerful casino with all the legal resources in its favor. The detective responded with a tone of resignation. Maria clenched her fists in helplessness until her nails dug in. He could accept giving up, just like that there must be something else he could try. After saying goodbye to the detective, he spent the rest of the day thinking about possible options. Finally, the idea occurred to him to seek legal help, maybe a more experienced lawyer. He might have better tools to face the casino in the morning. Next, Maria began looking for lawyers specialized in corporate fraud cases. She called several law firms until finally one agreed to hear her case. It was a respectable law firm called Lozano and Associates. Received her from Ernesto, one of the main partners of the law firm. Maria told her every detail of the alleged casino fraud, giving her a copy of her winning ticket as evidence. The prestigious lawyer listened to her carefully, analyzing each element. Mrs. Maria, I perfectly understand your frustration with this situation. However, I must be completely honest with you. The chances of proving this against the casino are practically zero, said Lozano after hearing the case. There must be some way. I can't let them get away with this. Maria responded indignantly. Look, even if we manage to prove that your ticket has the same winning number, the casino will insist that only the other ticket was validated correctly in their system. As an official, they will be able to claim that this is a printing error on your ticket, and the court will agree with you based on your internal records, the lawyer explained patiently. But there has to be some law or legal resource that we can use, he insisted. Maria Lozano took a few moments thinking about possible strategies. Finally, she responded, we could try a lawsuit for corporate fraud. For that, we would need to try to get internal evidence from the casino showing that they validated two tickets with the same number on purpose to deny her her prize or something like that, but frankly, I find it very difficult for us to be able to obtain that type of evidence without access. Maria looked at him intently with a decisive look. Do whatever is necessary, please. I don't care how much it costs or how long will it take. I'm going to recover what by right belongs to me, Lozano stated flatly. He agreed to take the case but repeated again that the chances of success were remote. He explained in detail the long legal process that awaited them, including requests for internal information from the casino that they would surely try to block the court hearings with postponements and appeals among other complications. Maria was determined to move forward. Against all odds, she signed the contract with the law firm Lozano and paid a large advance with his savings. Thus began a painful judicial journey full of frustrations. During the first months, the casino rejected each request for information, alleging that it was confidential internal data. They had to appeal several times to superior judges until they finally managed to. A judge ordered the casino to present its sales records and validation of the winning ticket. When Lozano finally had access to examine that documentation, he verified that the casino still had everything in order with respect to the other ticket as the official winner. There was no strange clue or evidence of manipulation. Mrs. Maria, I regret to inform you that after meticulously reviewing the casino records, I have found absolutely nothing that we can use to prove our case. Lozano informed you. The heart of Maria sank into his chest. Almost months had passed, and they were still in exactly the same position. The first court hearings began to emerge where the casino's lawyers presented all the records supporting the validity of the other ticket. Every time Maria took the stand to testify, telling how she had the same winning number, the casino lawyers made her look like a confused old woman who was only looking to take advantage of an alleged printing error on her ticket. Maria felt that their credibility and reputation was crumbling piece by piece in the face of the relentless legal onslaught of the casino's lawyers. After almost a year of grueling hearings and failed appeals, they finally received the judicial verdict. According to all the evidence presented, this court rules in favor of the Cologne casino, as no type of fraudulent maneuver on the part of the institution has been clearly demonstrated. The ticket presented by Mr. Alberto Torres is declared the sole and legitimate winner of the well. Maria felt faint at that moment. Lozano tried to console her by telling her that they had done everything possible, but none of that served to alleviate the deep pain and feeling of injustice that invaded her inside. After spending all her savings and an entire year of her life in that legal battle Maria had lost, she had gone out of her way to prove the truth in court, but the power of the casino proved too great in the face of an elderly woman of limited resources, defeated and on the brink of the broken bank. Maria had no choice but to resign herself and try to move forward with her quiet routine life. The pain of humiliation and helplessness would always remain in her heart, but she had to be strong and continue. At least she had the conviction, internal knowledge of knowing that this prize had belonged to her by right, and she maintained the hope that one day the truth would be revealed and justice would be done. Although it seemed impossible, Maria clung to that small light of hope among so much darkness. After losing the lawsuit against the casino, Maria was devastated both emotionally and financially. She had exhausted all her savings on lawyers and in the legal battle, only to end up defeated against the overwhelming superiority of the casino. At her age, she was forced to start over. Thanks to the help of her children, she was able to avoid being on the street, but she had to move to a small apartment that they rented and depend on a modest pension to cover her expenses despite the hard blow. Maria refused to give up. She was convinced that the casino had committed fraud and had gotten away with it. There must be some way to prove it and continue the fight. One morning, while she was having breakfast alone in the kitchen of her new apartment, she heard a report on the news channel that told her drew attention. It was about a man who had managed to prove a pyramid scheme after years of investigating the case, even carrying out undercover work within the company. Inspired by that story, Maria came up with she had legal knowledge from her past as lawyer. What if she investigated the case on her own and tried to get evidence from the inside? With the free time she now had and armed with determination, Maria drew up a plan using disguises and changing her appearance as much as possible. She began to apply for different positions at the Cologne casino, hoping to infiltrate herself. After several failed attempts, she finally managed to get hired as a junior assistant in the finance sector. It was a minor position, but it would give her access to the inside of the company. On the first day, Maria arrived nervous. With a new look as a modern executive, tailored suit, glasses, dyed blonde hair, no one seemed to recognize her. "Good morning, I am the new finance assistant." Maria Fuentes introduced herself at the welcome reception. "Miss Fuentes, come by here. I'll take you to your area," the receptionist responded kindly. Maria was led to a large area of offices. Everything looked elegant and neat, very far from the image of criminality that she had in her mind. A man in a suit was waiting for you. "It must be Maria, our new assistant. A pleasure. I'm Gerardo Santini, assistant finance manager." He introduced himself, shaking hands, and explained what his initial tasks would be: recording invoices, creating expense sheets, scanning documents, ordering office supplies, among other basic administrative tasks. During the first weeks, Maria diligently completed all her tasks, but in every free moment, she carefully reviewed the documents and financial records that came into her hands, looking for anything that could serve as evidence of fraud. So far, everything seemed in order. The lottery prize payment receipts matched the records of validated winning tickets. He found nothing strange. One day, while he was organizing the bin to recycle paper, she noticed among the torn documents an invoice from an unknown company for several $1,000s. Using duct tape, Maria reconstructed the invoice as best she could. It was from a company called Cooperativa Agropecuaria Los Andes. The concept of it said consulting services. Maria found it suspicious. Why such a large invoice ended up in the trash? Why was it not recorded in the accounting books? When he consulted the internet, he discovered that the cooperative did not even exist. It was a facade. Would be facing a trail of money laundering or embezzlement. She needed to investigate further. Taking advantage of the fact that Santini had asked her to take some receipts to the financial director's office, Maria headed there. She knew that the director was not there that day, and she could take the opportunity to snoop. In search of more information, upon entering the elegant office, He looked cautiously in both directions, approached the desk and, with great care so as not to leave traces, examined the scattered papers, invoices, financial statements. Budget projections, nothing out of the ordinary. Suddenly Maria heard voices coming from the hallway. She quickly moved away from the desk, just as two men in suits entered chatting among themselves. To her surprise, one of them was the casino's general manager himself. Good morning, miss. I was looking for someone here," asked the manager. Upon seeing her, "Good morning. I was coming to leave these receipts for the director, but I see that she is not there." Stuttering, Maria nervous. "I see. You can. Leave it with me if you need it." "I'll give them to you," the manager responded without suspecting anything. Maria gave him the papers and quickly left the office because she was almost discovered. She would have to be more careful if she wanted to continue investigating. During the following days, every time Santini asked her to take documents to other offices, Maria took the opportunity to take a quick look, open drawers, rummage through paperwork, but she couldn't find anything. She began to get frustrated when suddenly an unexpected opportunity appeared and Santin asked her to replace him for a couple of hours. While he was going to a meeting in another building, he would be in charge of his computer and documents while he was gone. As soon as Santini left, Maria proceeded to record everything she could, searched for emails, files, and any records she considered suspicious. Just when she was about to give up, he found a hidden folder with transfers to tax havens for several $1,000,000. Maybe there was the proof he needed to unmask the casino. For when Santini returned, Maria had erased all traces and acted normally. She said goodbye, smiling, satisfied with her discovery. When she arrived home, she thought about the steps to follow. She could go directly to the police, but she knew that the casino would dismiss the accusations and destroy any evidence quickly. She needed to go higher. After thinking it through, she decided contact an investigative journalist famous for uncovering cases of corruption. She agreed to meet him in a bar that same night. Nervous, but eager to reveal the truth, Maria handed him over to the journalist copies of all the incriminating documents. The journalist assured her that he would investigate thoroughly before publishing anything. The days passed and Maria had no news until a week later the scandal broke out. The famous journalist published a bombshell investigation revealing fraudulent transfers and money laundering by the Cologne casino, presented all the evidence provided by an anonymous source. The casino tried to deny the story, but the evidence was overwhelming. The casino's shares plummeted in the face of the crisis. Reputational, several executives were forced to resign. Maria had finally achieved justice. Her courage and ingenuity allowed her to defeat a powerful fraud that no one else had been able to unmask. Although her name would remain anonymous, she felt deeply vindicated. Now she could retire peacefully, having fulfilled her mission that serve as a lesson for any other corrupt corporation. Because as the saying goes, you stepped on a sleeping elephant. Now pay attention to the consequences. After having managed to do justice by unmasking the fraudulent practices of the Cologne casino, Maria was able to feel a little inner peace. Although her name would remain anonymous, she knew that thanks to her perseverance and determination, that powerful casino had paid for all its crimes. Over the months, Maria noticed that the scandal had serious consequences for the Cologne casino. Sales and profits plummeted significantly as a result of the terrible reputation. Many customers canceled their memberships and decided never to gamble there again. Predictably, the general manager and several senior managers involved in the fraudulent maneuvers ended up resigning to avoid being investigated. It was even rumored that the owner was considering selling the casino. To turn the page one night, while watching the news on TV, Maria came across a report that caught his attention. The bad news continues for the controversial Cologne casino. As our editorial team could see, the volume of accumulated debts has led to the entity go into default. Closed sources revealed that they are already in talks with possible buyers. Given that at the current rate of losses, the closure would be imminent, Maria turned off the television and remained thoughtful. It was possible that her actions had damaged the casino so much that they were now on the brink of the broken bank. A part of her felt that they deserved it, but she also felt a certain resentment at being the cause of the potential bankruptcy of a company that employed hundreds of people. During the next week, Maria noticed the enormous number of articles in newspapers and web portals that mentioned the delicate financial situation of the casino. The rumors about the imminent bankruptcy became increasingly firmer, and she was even able to watch on television a protest by employees of the Cologne casino complaining about the crisis with signs that said, "We want to keep our jobs, not bankrupt," and similar phrases asking for mercy despite all the damage that had been done to Maria. She was moved to see so many desperate employees afraid of losing their sources of income in the event of a definitive bankruptcy. Many of them surely had nothing to do with the fraudulent maneuvers of the senior managers. After seriously considering it, Maria made a decision. She would look for a way to prevent the casino from going bankrupt completely, although she had achieved her goal. Committed by unmasking the criminals and making them pay for the injustice, she did not want to have the guilt on her conscience for the work misfortune of so many innocent people. Turning to her old contacts in the legal world, Maria managed get a meeting with the president of the board of directors of the Cologne casino. Surprised to see her after so many years, the manager agreed to listen to her. "Gentlemen, I know that you are going through an unprecedented crisis, and I also know that it is largely the result of the irregularities that I myself helped reveal." Maria began, "That's right, madam. You have caused us enormous damage from which it will take us years to recover." "What did you come for?" one of the directors responded angrily. "I have come to offer you my help to avoid total bankruptcy," Maria stated with determination. The managers looked at each other astonished, unable to believe what they were hearing. Maybe it was a joke. This was the woman who had brought their company to its knees and was now coming to its rescue. Maria explained to them that she was sorry for having affected so many employees who did not have no fault, and that she was willing to use her contacts and influences to get new investors or buyers to inject fresh capital into the company. "Gentlemen, I know that I was your enemy in the past, but seeing how things are, my conscience dictates that I extend a hand to you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doing it for you, but for the people who depend on this place," she emphasized. After discussing the proposal, the managers agreed to receive Maria's help, thus beginning an unexpected restructuring process to try to save the Cologne casino. Of that of Backel total during the following months, Maria activated all her contacts in search of investors willing to participate in the recapitalization. She had to overcome great reluctance due to the poor image, but finally found an Arab investment fund looking to enter the local casino market after intense negotiations. The fund agreed to invest millions of dollars in exchange for shareholding and positions on the board. The deal would allow the Cologne casino to cancel its debts accumulated and have capital to renew its facilities and improve the image. On the day the agreement was signed, Maria was specially invited by the directors, even facing the press, publicly recognizing her noble gesture to help the company in times of crisis despite its stormy past. Maria was surprised to receive warm applause from all the staff in the main casino hall who thanked her for saving their jobs. Visibly excited, she told them that the past was buried, and he hoped that they would regain success in the following months. The Cologne casino experienced a notable recovery. The reforms and investment once again attracted thousands of customers. Profits increased fivefold and more jobs were created. Years later, Maria was invited to the lavish events for the 10th anniversary of the Cologne casino. She retired and observed it with pride, filled with people who were healthfully enjoying the entertainment, far from that den of fraud and deceit into which her spirit of faith had fallen years ago. Self-improvement and her kindness were the keys to giving the company a second chance. Today, Maria is remembered within its hallways as the woman who not only confronted them, but then rescued them from the ashes. Her story will inspire always to the new generations. Despite the time that had passed, Maria could not forget the fraud that the Cologne casino had committed against her by denying her the lottery prize that legitimately belonged to her. Although now she had a good relationship with the company, even having helped them avoid the total bankruptcy in the past, the memory of that humiliation was still latent in her mind. So when the casino invited her to the celebrations for its 50th anniversary, Maria saw the perfect opportunity to settle that outstanding debt. Once and for all, it was the ideal time to face them for the last time and finally recover what was hers. On the night of the great celebration, Maria arrived, dressed elegantly for the occasion, and appeared with a big smile at the entrance of the luxurious casino where she was received with honors. "Dear Maria, we are so glad that you were able to come. Come over here. The main table will be for you. Our guest of honor," the general manager told her, guiding her to the center of the majestic event hall. Maria cordially greeted the guests, directors, and everyone present while she took her seat at the central table next to the current president and majority shareholders of the casino. After a sumptuous dinner and the protocol speeches, the moment arrived that Maria was waiting for. The presenter gave her the microphone to say a few words. Good night, everyone. It is a great honor for me to be here celebrating with you, Maria began saying. Suddenly, her tone changed radically, becoming cold and severe. However, I cannot miss this opportunity to claim what is mine. Right, years ago I won the jackpot in your lottery, and you scammed me by denying me payment. I demand that you give me what corresponds to me with interest. Everyone in the room was stunned. No one understood what was happening. The manager tried to intervene to calm her down, but Maria did not give him chance. Don't dare touch me. I've waited a long time for this moment. I brought all the necessary evidence to unmask the losers in front of everyone, brandishing the copy of their winning ticket. The deers quickly intervened security to try to get her out, but Maria resisted firmly, clinging to the lectern. Let me go. I'm not going to leave here until they admit their fraud and pay me what they owe me, she screamed furiously. They haven't changed anything. They're still the same scammers and scammers as always. They ruined my life by denying me what I had just won. I cannot sit idly by, the president of the board insisted. He asked everyone to continue the celebration in the adjoining room so that he could talk alone with Maria once they were together. The two of them only tried to reach an agreement. Maria, I offer you a sincere apology for what happened in the past. It was an unforgivable mistake, but the entire board of directors from that time is no longer here. Now we are new people. He justified himself nervously. I don't care. You guys became rich. At my expense, it's time for them to pay, Maria answered bluntly. The president began to calculate quickly on a piece of paper. Finally, he offered her a deal. Okay, I'm going to propose something fair. We'll pay you the prize money that you claim. According to my calculations, updating interest would be an approximate sum of $1 in exchange. You must commit to not complaining to us again or make a fuss. Maria thought about it for a moment. She knew that this was enough to get her money back and maybe something else. She didn't want to be too greedy. Okay? I accept your offer. I want the money tomorrow in cash, and you better not try to deceive me again, warned Maria. The president agreed to the deal, called the finance manager to prepare the money, and summoned Maria too. The next day for delivery, Maria left that night with a big smile of satisfaction. Justice had finally been done. The next morning, Maria went punctually to the appointment at the casino. There the president and the manager were waiting for her. With a briefcase inside, there were bundles of money. Of bills for the amount agreed upon the night before. Maria reviewed it bill by bill, verifying that the figure was correct. Once she proceeded to sign the payment receipt and confidentiality agreement. I am really very sorry. Everything that happened. I hope that this arrangement brings you some peace, the president said. He nodded, shaking hands. Music. The casino managers learned a valuable lesson. They saw that regardless of the time that has passed, the improper acts of the past can always take their toll again. Honesty and justice must guide every decision. Maria retired calmly with the full satisfaction of having fulfilled her duty. It is never too late to demand what is just, no matter how powerful those who tried to deny him. Music. Cologne had unfairly denied him the money from the agreement. He could indulge in some treats and live more peacefully, but his persevering nature did not allow him to sit idly by. He thought about all the other people who perhaps had been scammed by that casino or other businesses. Maria decided that she should continue her crusade against injustice despite her age. She was not ready to retire. She still had a lot to give, so she came up with the idea of establishing a foundation to help others get what was rightfully theirs using part of the money from the settlement. Maria worked to create the foundation against corporate fraud. She surrounded herself with lawyers specialized in cases of corruption and consumer scams. The foundation began to operate, receiving complaints from people who were victims of deception of all kinds by companies. Maria was personally in charge of listening attentively to each case, providing moral support and legal advice at no cost. One of the first to resort to the foundation was Ramon, a humble worker who had been scammed by a financial company. They had tricked him into signing a loan with very high interest that were not clearly informed. Please help me. I can't pay that. They will take from me every last thing I have, Ramon begged desperately. "Don't worry, let's go." To thoroughly analyze his case and find a way to cancel that fraudulent credit, he calmed down. Thanks to the experience of his lawyers, they were able to demonstrate that the financial company had failed to comply with legal regulations regarding information to the consumer. After a tough legal battle, justice ruled in favor of Ramon, freeing him from that illegitimate debt. Another emblematic case that they took on at the foundation was that of Dolores, a retiree who had been sold a tourist package that turned out to be false. It was only a trap to steal his savings, and they activated all their contacts until they found the scammer, getting him to confess his crime in court. Dolores was able to recover every last cent stolen. Over time, the foundation grew considerably, helping hundreds of people protect themselves against abuse of all kinds. Maria became a reference, giving talks and interviews to raise awareness about consumer rights. Thus, the years passed with countless cases that Maria attended with the same passion as always. Her body was tired, but his spirit was still strong in the fight for justice. One night, already years old, Maria received a visit in her house from an old woman. She could barely speak. Her voice cracked with emotion. "You don't know me, but I know you. Yes, when I was little, my parents lost everything due to a deception until you helped us recover," the woman told her. Maria did not remember that specific case. There had been so many, but seeing that genuine gratitude was the best reward. "You don't have to thank me for anything. I just did what I wanted." "I should," answered Maria with a smile. The old woman took her hands with affection. "You gave us back our faith in justice. I will never forget you. You are my heroine," the woman said through tears. Maria felt that that moment summed up the entire meaning of her struggle, and she knew then that she could leave in peace because her legacy would be planted in the hearts of those people. Shortly after, Maria passed away peacefully in her sleep. She was years old. The expressions of affection multiplied from all those who had found in her a beacon of hope. Her funeral was massive, attended by people from all over the world. From humble to powerful businessmen who experienced her transformation, all kept indelible memories of Maria as a woman of integrity and courage capable of facing any injustice. The foundation endured by helping the defenseless, just as her mentor would have wanted. Maria remained in history as an example of tenacity, self-improvement, and justice. Her greatest legacy was to demonstrate that with perseverance one can twist the arm of adversity and turn the worst situations into strength, to fight for a greater good. As she herself used to say, "Falling is not failure, it is staying down." Her life and work were the pure materialization of that philosophy, an eternal beacon for noble souls who refuse to resign themselves in the face of injustice.